The All-American Otaku Show.
Hello everyone, welcome to the All-American Otaku Show. Sorry for this one being late. I had a problem with my right eye and I was feeling under the weather. Right eye is a lot better now, thank you. This episode of All-American Otaku Show is about top 10 anime. I know we've done this one in the past, but this is revisited because sometimes the top 10 changes over new animes we watch over the year, as well as animes that you previously liked, you watched again, and you find out you don't like them as much. There will also be a manga section done by Mr.Pat on his top 10. Thank you for watching. First of my top 10, number 10 is Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing is my favorite one, with the angel Gundams and various complex relationships between the good and the bad, and sometimes the good are not exactly what you think. Gundam Wing is one of my favorites of the Gundam series. Even though it came out in the 90s, it still holds up, I think, really well. And as Gundam goes, it's the godfather or grandfather of all mecha anime when it comes to mechas that you go inside and control and things like that. Even though there's been mecha animes before, like your Astro Boy and Gigantor, but those two are more of a personalized mecha where they're a robot themselves, or in Gigantor's case, a giant robot that's controlled by a wristwatch. Gundam and Gundam Wing came out in the 90s, while the first Gundam called Iron Gundam Mecha Suit Gundam came out in 1975. Gundam Wing came out in the 80s and early 90s. Still holds up, still fairly well. Now let's move on to number 9 in my pick. Number 9 in my pick is Code Geass, another mecha anime where there is special powers and then there are special abilities, such as Geass, what you could say, everybody do this, and then they will do it as long as they are not talking through a machine and you're direct eye contact with them. Sometimes you could, with this ability, you can motivate them to be stronger, or you can motivate them weaker, or in one case in the anime, where Lelouch says, I command you guys to point a gun and shoot at yourselves. So they pointed a gun, shot themselves, and Dot says, yes, we'll do as you command. But once you use the gun Geass power on them once, stereotypically you can't use the same one over and over and over again, eliminating them and giving them new commands through Geass. This one also has giant mechas they call nightmares. They go inside the mechas and then they fight other bad guys and other things like that. Code Geass is one of the major mecha animes in the industry right now. They came out with a new one, Lelouch the Resurrection, which is a really good movie, and it ties off after the last one. I'm not going to spoil for you, but they all connect because of these things. The main characters in the Code Geass are the Britannia, which is the massive military, and the various divisions, and one of them being the Japanese, which they call 11s. So the Japanese have new rivals with the mechas thing, trying to fight Britannia and trying to gain their freedom back. Very awesome anime, very awesome ending. I highly recommend seeing that one. This leads to my number 8 pick. My number 8 pick is Rom No 1/2. This is a funny anime with martial arts everything, such as martial arts Chinese takeout, or martial arts rhythm and gymnastics, or martial arts ice skating or martial arts racing and various things like that. The main character Ramna, when he's splashed with cold water, he turns into a girl. But when splashed into hot water, he turns back into a boy. His dad, who's fell in the same thing to become there, when cold water turns into a panda and then warm water turns back human. They meet various characters who fall into the various different springs and turn into various different things, as well as Ramna, whose father keeps on engaging him to marry various different things when convenience arrives. Eventually, it's basically a love story between Ramna and Akane. Even though they act like they don't like each other, but there is still something there, and they at times really care about each other. Highly recommend this anime as well. This leads to my number 7 anime, which is Fully Cooley. Fully Cooley is an anime that you look on the surface, because it's so short, you think there must have been something wrong with this anime, or this anime might be as good. But in fact, it's an anime of a coming-of-age story. The anime has a delightful weirdness, tongue-in-cheek humor, and there's various other events that lead on to this anime. Like, the main character doesn't like sour, which is supposed to represent is not adult yet. Or the horn coming out of his head was his first erection or something. Or the idea that he doesn't want to do a school play and he gains cat ears like the main character, and all various other things. Like there's this iron that's supposed to smooth out everyone's brain. It's a factory and things. There's a lot of nuances in this anime. I highly recommend to see it, but see it with an objectionable eyes. This leads to my number 6 anime of all time, Ninja Scroll. Ninja Scroll is an anime movie, not the series. I don't really care for the series too much, but the movie, it involves about these demon people who have various different powers and stuff that are trying to overthrow the shogunate at the time. And this goes for the new main character, Jubei, who's a sort of a rogue Ronin samurai who's trying to find the person who controls them, because the person who controls the demons betrayed him and left him for dead at one time. He meets this girl whose whole ninja clan was destroyed, that if she touches someone, she could poison them, as well as various other ninja abilities. This also leads to one of the demon people having bees that shoot out of them, or another one being able to explode rats and various other things, as well as one using tattoos that worked as become alive and it'd strike with poison or as a snake or other things or what have you. And eventually it leads to the main character fighting the person who wronged him, who has the power of reincarnation. More that he tries to kill him, more he comes back. Very highly recommend this anime. Definitely not for kids though. Very violent. There's some sex scenes. There's some nudity. There's some areas like the first scene, this rock demon guy throws this giant shuriken and chops all these ninjas in half, and then tries to go for one of the main characters by ripping off her clothes, and then she gets rescued by the samurai guy. And this leads to my number 7 anime. Sixth anime. Long day. My 6th anime is Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man starts off with this kid who all he really wants to do is live the normal things of daily life. Meet a girl, eat food, eat jam, and so forth. But he's in incredibly debt, so he has to kill devils to pay off his debt to the Yakuza. And it so happened that the Yakuza people get killed, and he eventually gets thought to be dead, that his heart gets replaced by this dog who's a devil that has chainsaw abilities. And then once he pulls the string, he becomes more of like the chainsaw devil. He's then used by another group who promises him great food and great compassion, and she wants to use him as a pet. You meet other characters as Power, who's a devil who could use blood mat abilities. She can, and she has a cat that she loves, and entices the main character by saying, "If you rescue my cat, you can touch my breasts." Awesome anime, and it makes you think, what are the very important things in life? The next anime on my list of the top 10 as number 5 is My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia takes the ideas of superhero anime and idea of comic books and westernized superheroes, where I rescue this hero, they rescue that hero, as well as bring out the sword. Not a sword, sorry. Bring out this power. Most of the people have powers, even though not all of them are useful for heroing. Like one person who's a reporter could form cameras all over his body. Or another person who's a hero has abilities as a frog, but you don't figure what ability a frog could use. Well, she has the ability of venom. She could clone herself. She has a huge tongue. She could jump. She could exist in water, breathe underwater as well as in land. She could jump really high. And she's a kind-hearted soul. They call her Froppy or Sue. Another character in there is Bakugo, who's uses napalmic sweat, who wants to be a hero, but he's like your standard shonen character who's full of energy and full of vile, and who wants to prove that he's the best and believes he's the best, and he's very abrupt in things. And you have another character who could run fast with engines on the thing, who is the stereotypical hero. I want to do good and do justice, and we got to do what's right. And then, of course, you have the main character, Deku, who was born without any powers, who gained the powers from the top hero, and has the abilities to go get super strong, as well as other things in the future. Check it out, I'm not going to spoil it for you. As well as this hero, it goes to more complex when it goes into the villains and how the villains became villains. As well as a character I'm going to be cosplaying at SakuraCon, All For One, who is the main villain in this, who has the ability to take powers, turn on powers, and take powers and use multiple quirks. Or that's what they call the powers are quirks. And this leads to my number 4 pick. My number 4 pick is Ghost in the Shell, the series and the movie. It's a very complex cyberpunk anime with lots of action, lots of blood, lots of guts, because it came out in the 90s, but it's a very complicated story about what is really human. Robot, man, or machine, or are we a combination of both? What does a soul exist? How does a soul work? It also goes for a computer world where there's computers do this and computers do that. This anime is an excellent anime. It makes you think. It really makes you really strong onto the sci-fi realm. This is Ghost in the Shell. Check it out. I'm not going to spoil more for you. Leads to my number 3 anime of all time, Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop, great anime. It has a lot of subtexts about the future problems that we have today could exist in the future. Whether it's trying to find something to eat, or trying to capture this bounty, or trying to pay off hospital bills, or try to fix a corrupt system through the police department, or simple in becoming a hacker and trying to figure out who your parents are. This anime is very direct, but also very complex. A lot of subtext in this anime. This is a prime example of why people should watch anime. Cowboy Bebop has a lot of spirit, a lot of interesting characters, good, bad, and indifferent. This leads to me to the number 2 anime of my list, which is Trigun. This anime is about space outlaws who are trying to find their own way. One, Vash the Stampede, who is a multi-billion-dollar bounty man who says he comes in there and destroys. Everyone is afraid of him, but he's never killed anyone. He's never maimed anyone. He's maimed people, but he's never killed anyone. He's never really intentionally causes destruction. He's a pacifist with a gun, and that has the ability to manipulate bullets to not incapacitate without killing. He's also very particular about his donuts and particular about women and various things. He travels this thing trying to fix there. He eventually meets his counterpart, Knives, who's the opposite of him, even though they have same abilities. I'm not going to spoil too much more about it. Check it out. It's called Trigun. And this leads to my number 1 pick. Same as last time, same as those who know me, it's Akira. It's the anime that got me started in anime in the first place. It's a anime cyberpunk. Great movie. It goes into complicated of corrupt government. It goes into the idea of psychic powers, gangs. It goes into a whole lot of aspects. Why this anime is a must? Because it's complicated. It's entertaining. It's the idea of everything you would think of in sci-fi. Instead of aliens, it's more of a dystopian future. The main character is not perfect. He's in a biker gang in a delinquent school who all he wants to do is try to have his friend and maybe set things right. I highly recommend. Not going to spoil much check it out, Akira. And here's Mr. Pat.
Hello, this is the All American Otaku Show, and this is Mr. Pat. This time we're getting close to the end of the year, and I'm doing top 10. In no particular order, here's my top 10. First one, and you probably heard me go off on this one, Berserk. I really enjoy this one. It's really visceral, but at the same time it's more about the story of a guy named Guts and his fight through, his friend that turned demon and trying to, get his girlfriend's memory back. And it has a lot of big sword fighting. So that's the first one. Second one, you probably heard this one as well. Food Wars. I love this one. It's really over the top, kind of etchy feel, but it's mostly about food. And, Soma is the main hero of this one, and Aaron that is on this one is also the heroine / more antagonist for a while. It's about food competition, and the food is really accurate. You can look at it and see how they do it, and you can make it, and it really works. Next one on my list, I don't know if I come over this one, but Spice a Wolf. I love this concept of Spice a Wolf. It's basic about economics, slice of life / the economics, slice of life, and slight romance in there. It's a lot of fantasy, but the whole economics is really mind-boggling. But I like the style of it. The art style works really wonders. And the next one is Claymore. I had chosen this one, I think, before, but again, I like this one. Big swords go, yay. Big sword combat works really well. The story of Claire and her, you know, getting past all this mystery and stuff that find out how, you know, why they needed claymores in the first place. It is pretty decently long. I don't know if it's considered shonen, but the whole idea of all these sword people, half demon people fighting these full on demons really appeals to me. I mean, big swords always, yeah. Next one I chose is Vampire Knight. This one is, I like this one because it's the concept of vampires. You don't see them done really too well. Now, granted, this is not the traditional trope where they can exist in night only. They're existing all day. And it's done in a more of a fantasy, medieval style. Um, School environment a bit. The idea of this, girl that doesn't know she's has vampire lineage, and this one guy that becomes her mentor in a way. She helps her learn all this stuff. She has another friend that she worked with, and he essentially is a vampire hunter. He finds out. I really like this one. It's has some combat, a lot of intrigue. The ending, I think it really closes really well with the ending. The next one I think I got on with this one is D Gray Man. I love this one. It works really well. The D Gray Man is about exorcism, and this guy that is find this clan of antagonists, Noah, and biblical portions, and he is given this power to exercise him with his hand, and the Duke of Noah is the main antagonist, and slowly changes people into demons themselves to, you know, get rid of all humanity, and meanwhile he's take care of it through this right hand power that slowly develops, and he as a character slowly develops. Next one on my list is Skip a Beat. I think I got over this one. I really like this one. It's, about a girl and her revenge over a former boyfriend that dumped her ass on the side of the road and said he didn't need her, and so she decides to, since he's like a major magician, musical art, he just needs to be taken down a peg, so she decides to become an actress, and it's about the concept of her road onto being a better and better actress as time goes on. Next one I have is Battle Angel Attila. This one, I don't know if I've gone over this one, but it's a really good dystopian future. And cyborg Attila herself, or Yoko as it were, she's about trying to recover her memories initially. That's like, there's actually two parts. There's one that's mostly about, her life through it, and the second one is about a tournament arc that she finds about these children of Mars, which she essentially is from, and finding all sorts of cybernetic combat with. Oh, and by the way, she knows a special cybernetic that's called Panzerkunst, which is actually a German for. I guess I don't know. I don't know German, but it works out with that, and her combat. She slowly develops, gets her memories back through finding out that she knows this combat really well, and it's a Mars cyborg combat style. And last on my list is Card Captors. I like this one because they kind of mix with several other manga that link to the same universe. Card Captors is about a girl that inherits a magic power that after she finds that the cards that she released because they have powers themselves, scatter to the winds, and she's trying to get them back bit by bit to rescue them. I recommend this one because if you want to read other ones that are done by this artist, it really works. I enjoy it. It's slash magic slash romance. It's really good. And this is my top 10 in no particular order. And Mr. Pat,